Hit record. Welcome to the May 17th edition of the SIG CLI biweekly meeting. I'm Sean Sullivan. I'm your host. I'll get directly into the announcements. So the 128 release dates have been sent out. And let's go over a few of the important ones because some of them are coming up pretty quickly. So the production readiness freeze is in a little bit over 3 weeks on Thursday, June 8th. For those who are working with KEPs, keep that date in mind, but also especially keep the enhancement freeze deadline in mind, which is going to happen in about 4 weeks. And the code freeze is in about 9 weeks on Tuesday, July 18th. If you're in the Pacific time zone, the UTC, it's Wednesday, July 19th at 1 a.m. And the release itself should go out. It's scheduled to go out on Tuesday, August 15th, about 4 weeks after that. So the next announcement has to do with there's some pretty substantial changes to the leadership of the SIG CLI. I'm going to leave it to Mache. Would you like to announce that?
Yes. Welcome, everyone. So we are changing 3 roles for SIG CLI. Sean Sullivan decided to step down from the chair role. Sean has been leading the SIG for basically 5 years from what I've been checking the history. I'll have more details in the email that I'll be sending out after the call. But thank you very much, Sean, for all your help for representing SIG CLI, both within the community, outside at various events, representing SIG CLI when talking with different SIGs, especially SIG API machinery. Sean has been also a key person driving the move from the move of kubectl to the staging repository, and recently has been working with OpenAPI v3 implementation in kubectl. So thanks a lot for your help, Sean.
Sure.
We do really hope that you will be able to focus more on the technical side now that you will be letting go the organizational side of the SIG CLI. In parallel to that, Natasha Sarkar, who has been a key driving person behind Customize, along with Katrina, is going to be nominated for chair of SIG CLI. Natasha has grow over the past 3 years through the ranks, and this past year she became a Customize subproject co-owner along with Katrina, and she's currently a key person driving the Customize bug scrubs. And lastly but not least, Eddie is nominated for a tech leadership role. Eddie has been a SIG CLI lead for almost 3 years now. He is the main person behind the bug scrubs that we are doing monthly. He drives the decision to push run those meetings, and he is driving most of them until this day with some help from other folks. And Eddie is also a primary person driving a lot more folks into helping SIG CLI. So we've decided to promote Eddie to a tech lead role. So congratulations to Natasha and Eddie, and thanks a lot again to Sean. I'll be sending out an announcement shortly after this call concludes, because there is a roughly 2-week window where people can ask questions or eventually raise any concerns or objections that they have with regards to those proposed changes. So thanks again to all nominees, and thanks a lot to Sean for your amazing work.
Sure. Thanks, Maciej. So now let's move on to the part of the meeting where we get to meet our new colleagues. So if you haven't been to a SIG CLI meeting, or you haven't been here for a long time and you'd like to raise your profile with the rest of the SIG CLI, this is your opportunity to introduce yourself. And this is completely voluntary. So if that's not what you want to do, that's fine as well. Is there anybody who'd like to introduce themselves?
I can go. Hi, folks. I'm Vihang. I work on the Pixie sandbox project, and I'm employed by Neuralink. So yeah, that's sort of how I'm involved with the community.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Is there anybody else who'd like to introduce themselves? If not, we could move on to sub-project and KEP updates. And there is at least one KEP update I wanted to bring to the attention of the SIG, which is one that I've kicked off with the initial iteration of a KEP for transitioning from Speedy to WebSockets for kubectl exec, kubectl attach, and kubectl copy. This is an effort we've been working on for several weeks. But if you'd like to get a better understanding, so there's some of the most important sections have been at least started. And if you want to know a little bit about the summary of it, the motivation, or the any of the design details, let me actually, I wasn't showing that. Here's the KEP PR. So we're hoping to get this merged very quickly and then iterate on it. So it's only in a provisional state, and we'll be pushing to get it into the implementable state by finishing the rest of the sections by the code, the enhancement freeze deadline, which I mentioned is about 4 weeks. So if you want to have a look at that, if you want to comment on it or even get involved, please let me know, or just comment on the PR itself. And with that, we can move on to the open discussion. And Leonid has an item on the agenda. Would you like to go, Leonid? Would you like to present?
Thank you, Sean. I have nothing to present. I want to ask this question about the process. As it was mentioned, there is a code freeze toward the version release in 3 or 4 weeks. And in the previous meeting, I've presented an issue, an improvement for kubectl wait command. And I made a newbie mistake. I didn't assign the issue to myself. And one of the contributors volunteered to take the issue. And this person submitted a change. And I was involved in the change to see how it works. And I see that the progress on this work is very slow. So after 2 weeks, the PR didn't went through many iterations. So I'm interested for a few reasons to take this work forward and hopefully to have it released before the freeze and the next version release. So my question is there any process or appropriate procedure to take this thing forward, given the core contributor has a limited capacity to work on an issue? How does it?
So I'm not sure that this, I'm going to defer to Maciej, but I would put in a couple words myself, which is whoever is more involved and is actually, pushing forward to get something done, would be, I think would probably get the most traction with the reviewers. And if you reach out to the reviewer to actually get your PR approved, and you've been you created the issue and you've been attending the meeting, it seems like in my mind, if I'd be totally, I think it would be totally appropriate if your PR was the one that kind of took precedence. Maciej, what do you think?
Yeah, you definitely touch on a good point. The conflicting or parallel PRs is a problem that I've been dealing in the past. But what I personally tell everyone is that they should double check with the author if they are interested in working on it, and only if the author does not respond, then take over a particular issue PR or anything like that. You clearly pointed out that it was your mistake that you didn't explicitly called out that you are planning to work on it, which is a fair thing, and it's probably the safest to do. But definitely what Sean said with regards to if there will be two competing PRs, the one that is completed will be the one that gets merged. It's definitely worth reaching out to the author of the other one. There may be multiple options why he's not pushing this forward. Maybe trying to sync with him either through GitHub issues by linking your work, or by trying to ping them on Slack and get a closure on that topic is definitely worthwhile, at least for review. And then at the end of the day, you can always ask them to review your PR. Maybe there is a high chance that you are not necessarily covering all the use cases that the other person might be thinking of. So maybe a cross-referencing both PRs just for the ease of tracking that there are two of them working on the same topic. And then eventually, if one of them gets merged, we can close the other one with the link to the one that actually resolved the issue. And if there will be actually some cases where there still will be some additional work required, maybe the other person is still interested in following up and submitting additional changes on top of the work that has been merged. So that's roughly the process that I've been personally preaching and as well trying to implement it for myself. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I've seen multiple times that there are sometimes people who will pick up various issues without even asking or without double checking, which is a problem for the whole project as a whole. But yeah, we're just humans, so I guess it's just a matter of double checking with both parties about the progress, and I'm pretty sure that there's still room for those that are interested in working on taking additional topics.
Thank you very much. I honestly was having this in mind when I asked that. I just wanted to confirm that there are no well-defined process that I might not work upon. But yes, this was my idea, just to communicate clearly with the author of the original PR to make sure if he is able to provide the resolution towards the time, and see if it is okay for him if I will take it over and collaborate with him to release it eventually. Thank you.
And thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for showing up. Okay, I think we're going to have plenty of, at least another 40 minutes of our time back, unless somebody else brings up something else to the SIG.
Hi, I had a quick question.
Sure.
So I have an open PR for a particular issue. I was wondering if there's if this is the right forum to sort of discuss it, or maybe bring it up with this group, or if I should reach out to you directly and sort of I can both tell you the sort of reason I created the PR and sort of what it attempts to do. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think that this is a really good forum to do that. Well, can you, do you have access to the notes, and can you put a link to your PR?
I don't have edit access to the notes, but I can drop it in the chat if you want.
Yep. Okay.
I'm happy to sort of quickly talk about the motivation. So as I mentioned earlier, I work on sort of Kubernetes observability tools. And one of the things that we're hoping to do is give folks the ability to see the kubectl describe style output for the objects they have. And I've noticed that describe doesn't have any, we use informers to basically get access to these objects on the cluster, and describe usually reaches out to the API to generate the output. It doesn't have any way to use in-memory objects, except for this default object describer, which it seems like it's been sort of neglected for a while. So I was just basically adding off the other describers to that object. I don't know if you want to keep that around, or if you want to change that sort of style and maybe move to a different way of doing it.
So I just tagged it with OK to test, and so we can test it now. And
cool.
So Maciej, you and I are both mentioned as reviewers. Do you have anything to add? I actually don't have anything to add right now, and I don't have that much background in Describe, but do you want to mention anything now?
I mean, the change itself looks safe and rather straightforward.
Yeah.
I'll double check why we haven't done it before.
Yep.
It, like you said, it clearly is a miss on our end. So if I'll double check after the call, and if there will be no,
no worries. Yeah, I looked through the Git history for the default object describer, and it seemed like it was added many years ago, and there was some potential debate on whether we should keep it or not. And then it kind of just got left there without updates being made or without it being removed. So I understand if there's a reasonable reason to not have such a default describer or something of that sort, but I figured if one exists, we should make it feature complete or something like that. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if I want to sort of reach out to you folks about this PR as we think about this in the future, is Slack a good place to ping folks coming to this meeting? Just GitHub? What is the preference?
Definitely Slack.
Okay.
Since Slack is asynchronous, so people can respond whenever their time is appropriate, and you don't have to wait 2 weeks for the next SIG CLI call.
Yep, makes sense.
It's basically the fastest as well.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I've added that to the notes. Is there anything else that anyone else would like to bring to the attention of the SIG CLI?
Sean, I wanted to ask.
Garrett.
I pasted the issue in the chat, and I had watched the KubeCon talk where it was mentioned that this could be something good to work on with a bunch of commands. So I left a comment on it the other day. I talked to Eddie some, but I was just kind of wondering if this was still a good priority to work on and to get more experience in the SIG and commands and all that stuff? It's kind of a general question.
It definitely is. There's a lot of commands that haven't been split. This is, we have split a few of them. And just to quickly go over this topic for the rest of the SIG, this is pulling out the actual kind of guts of the command versus the Cobra part. And so the idea is that a lot of the functionality for these commands maybe could be reused, maybe even in a controller. And so we have to pull out the command line interface specific code, the Cobra specific code, and separate them. And there's some general techniques that have already been used. I think the wait command actually was maybe one of the first and shows that the clearest on how to do that. But there's definitely a bunch of commands that still need that particular cleanup to be done. Thanks for bringing that up, Garrett.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to add some more notes on that at the end of the call. Okay, and so I'll ask again, is there anything else that we would like to bring up to the rest of the SIG? Okay, appreciate all your time, and we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Sean.